Start recording. Welcome to another episode of On Campus with JB and Sciggy. Obviously, it's your boy JB. Unfortunately, my boy Sciggy is not here with us this week. He's moving into college today as he prepares to get ready for his move to Mercer and start fall camp here this week. So best wishes to him and safe travels to my boy. We love you. We miss you. But today we have the CEO and founder of ATB here with us again, Ronnie Harder. What's good, my boy?
Doing great, man. It's just like old times when we used to do our podcast together a year ago. So it's great to be on with you, man.
Yes, sir. I see you got the Mayweather boxing fitness flexing us as always. Man's always flexing at his job, but it's cool. It's cool. We like it. But today we have a baller on it because that's all we bring here on campus. We bring ballers. One of the funniest athletes in college sports. I mean, when this episode's done, make sure you add them on everything: Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Mainly Snapchat though. But man, and arguably one of the best 3-point shooters in college basketball. You guys will find it out this year as he steps into the ACC. We have Boston College guard Brevin Galloway. Man, what's good with you today?
What's good, Sean? Man, I'm excited to be here, man. Can't wait to chop it up.
Man, we're excited to have you. We're kind of at the point where we keep getting these big guests. We're like, damn, how do we keep doing this? But hey, it works out. People like the content. People mess with us, and you're a guy who has a ginormous following. So hopefully you get to help build your brand more as we've seen you. We'll get to the NIL talk a little bit because I ain't seen nobody run it up the way you have. But first of all, let's just talk about your journey. Obviously, you're at College of Charleston. Now you're transferring into Boston College. So take us through your everything for you. Where your love for basketball came. Were you always the guy growing up? Wherever you're from. Obviously, me and Ronnie are both from state South Carolina, so we know that you're a pretty legit player growing up your whole time, middle school, high school, everything. So just talk to us about your journey.
Okay, so obviously I had started to love for the game when I was probably like 3-4 years old. My dad and mom come from an athletic family. My mom played volleyball at Georgia. Dad played Division II basketball at Lander in Greenwood, South Carolina. And then obviously my brother's at Clemson. He's a tight end there. So athletic family growing up. So it was always in our blood to, compete and just play sports in general. So then high school hit, ended up being a pretty solid recruit. Was able to get the opportunity to go to College of Charleston with Coach Grant, Coach Earl Grant, who was an assistant at Clemson. Kind of mad I didn't get to go to Clemson. I wanted to stay close to home. But nah, so ended up going to Charleston. Loved my 4 or 5 years there. Got hurt, tore my ACL last season. So now I was really, really fortunate to end up in the ACC and actually go a level higher than what I was last year. So I'm excited for it.
The crazy thing about it is, so you actually have, I'm sure you have a really close relationship with Coach Earl Grant because he brought you with him to Boston College. So I don't know how it all goes down when your coach tells you, has a team meeting or something. I know in football, you have a team meeting, your coach tells you he's leaving, or you just pretty to his office. In basketball, did he sit you guys in front of the team and say, hey, guys, I'm gonna be going to Boston College? And I know at that point, you're probably thinking, oh, we going to Boston College. I know for a fact you're like, oh yeah, bro, definitely taking me with him. I know for a fact. So what was that like? Was that something you were thinking about when you entered the portal? Like you probably entered the portal knowing that where you were going. So just talk to us about that.
Well, see, the crazy thing about it is that whenever he announced it, I was taking a nap. So I guess that morning, I think it was around probably like 10:30, 10:11, in between that time frame. He texted everybody I want to meet at 1. But I had just got back from downtown doing rehab and working out. So I was like, I'm taking a nap. I didn't even get the message. So I wake up to about, I think I can't even remember the exact number. It was like 84, 86 text messages and calls.
Bro, missed the meeting.
I was like, I missed the meeting. And then I was just everybody was sending me Instagram DMs and screenshots of him leaving. So I'm like, damn, man, he really leaving. I'm thinking I'm finna be in Charleston a whole another year running back with my guys. So then at that moment, I was like, my world kind of shook for a second because I didn't know what the future was going to hold and stuff like that. So I ended up wanting to actually test out, the whole recruiting experience all over again because I felt like I kind of got the short end of the stick in high school with my injury. So, I enjoyed it for about 4 or 5 days, the text messages, the phone calls, and I was like, nah, that's the time. And then I was like, it's pointless. I know where I want to go. I know where my heart's telling me and my mind's telling me. So I called Coach Grant. And I was like, because obviously he was a busy dude, dealing with the whole media and stuff like that and trying to get his family up to Boston. So it took about a week for us to reconnect. And what's crazy is, the crazy thing about it is I originally told him, I was like, nah, I'm just going to play it out, go elsewhere, the day after he got the job. And then that following, I think that was on Monday, whenever he announced it. So that following Saturday, I thought I was never gonna see bro again. Like I thought he was gonna be in Boston chilling. Saturday, me and one of the GA he here now. So we were supposed to shoot at 11. So I ended up waking up at like 8:30. I said we can go at 9 and then shoot today. So at 9 o'clock, keep in mind I just told Coach Grant that I was done. I was gonna test the whole recruiting process out, all that kind of stuff. So 9 o'clock hit, we in the gym shooting. Coach Grant come down to the main court in TD Arena in Charleston, and he's like, "What you doing here?" He said, "I thought you didn't want to see me no more." And I'm like, I ain't think I was gonna ever see you again, Coach." And then at that moment, I was like, "Damn, I got to go play for him." So then I was just like, I pretty much taught all the other coaches. I was like, "No, I'm going to Boston College," because I just felt like that was a sign from God. Like I see him on a Saturday morning. I never thought I'd see him again. So I was just like, I got to follow him up there and see where that takes me. So no, it was crazy. I still looking back at that day, and I'm like, damn, like. If we shot at like 11, I never would have saw him, and I probably would never be here. So,
Right. I mean, you're in the ACC, and you guys actually had a really good experience last year when you got to play at Chapel Hill against UNC. Obviously, one of your close friends is a close friend of mine. It's like I've kept up with you as well. You're one of those like mid-major guys, and I was like, all right, I'm trying to see him be one of those guys that leads the Cinderella team in the March and everything like that. So, I described you as one of the few players that actually plays it like the game like it's 2K, because whenever I tune into a game and I'm thinking, okay, you got a mid-major playing a high major, I'm like, okay, I'm looking for that guy on the team who's about to empty the clip, and like you every game are like, I'm about to empty the clip. Shot selection be damned. I mean, every shot's pretty. Your 3-point shots are pretty much all good shots with the range you have and the efficiency you shoot from three. But what was that moment like, just getting to play in UNC and play at Chapel Hill?
it was good. I was kind of upset, with COVID happening. We couldn't really experience that whole thing. But I mean, fortunately, I'll be able to go back there and play there again this year. So I'm not really sweating it too much. But I mean, being in there, seeing, the retired jerseys up top, seeing Jordan, Vince Carter, like seeing all those names and the jerseys and just being in that historic arena was crazy though. I mean, their locker room and, facilities are just unreal. And, it was a great experience just to go there and just hoop.
Dang. And then I'm sure you probably had the same thinking about being a mid-major guy. You probably want to have your dream Cinderella run. Like, I know you're a guy who probably emulates Steph Curry. So you're thinking, man, let me go on a Davidson run. So what did it mean to you when you tore your ACL? Like, just talk to us about how what went into that day when it happened, or that night when it happened.
That was probably, I mean, honestly, I was at peace with it, which is crazy. Obviously, it really hurt me because I felt like the game before that I had my career high, and then the game that I got hurt and I had 13 points in like 5-6 minutes. So I felt like everything was clicking. Like I felt like, oh yeah, like this shit finna get rolling. I'm about to really like become one of the nation's top scorers.
Yes, sir.
So then, obviously, like 10 minutes left in the first half, I go down, and I knew exactly what it was, and then all the emotions just kind of just went through my body. Like I knew I was done for the year. I knew I couldn't walk. I couldn't put any pressure on it. So like that hit me hard. But then like 2 hours after it, I was like, for some reason, I just felt, in the summer, I didn't put in the work that I needed to. COVID obviously affected me. I was playing overweight. I was like 235. Normally I'm like 210. So I was just kind of not in the right mindset that I needed to be in. And my mindset through COVID and everything like that kind of definitely had a big, negative effect on me in that moment. So, but I mean, 3-4 hours after it, I got back home. I ordered some Domino's pizza. I was just like, hey. And I was like, hey, it happens. Life happens. I didn't know what to expect going forward, but I knew God had a plan for me. So I was at peace with it. Obviously, I was upset. And then the months to come after that were, pretty rough. But like in the moment, I felt like I handled it well. And I handled it a lot better than most people would have.
So you talked about playing under Coach Grant, at College of Charleston. Now he's at Boston College. Talk about the impact that he's had. You played for him for 4 years at College of Charleston.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, the crazy thing about it is our relationship goes way back before college basketball. I've known him since I was about 10 years old. Him and my dad were close friends growing up, and they kind of reconnected in college, and they're both playing Division II basketball. They kind of had a relationship in that stage. So, I mean, really, it's kind of just been us growing together, getting closer. Like, obviously, he's watched me turn into a young man, and he's been like a second father to me in terms of just guidance. And I'll be able to come to him 10 years from now when I'm done playing pro ball, and I'll be able to have a job somewhere, or he'll be able to reconnect me with something like that just because we have a good relationship. He can vouch for me. We actually had some growing pains at first, just because, I'm afraid. You know how it is. You're like, I'm influenced by guys like Kelly Oubre, Odell Beckham, people like that, and he's old school. He's old school. He's like, he got the clean ball cut. He don't want to do nothing crazy. He ain't got a lot of tats, no earrings. So my freshman year, I came in with the blonde mohawk like Odell has.
I remember that.
Started getting a whole bunch of tats. So he called me into his office. He's like, "This ain't the same Brev that I knew growing up." He said, "What happened?" And I was just like, "Hey man, I'm just growing into me, man. I feel like this is who I am. I feel like I'm gonna be a an outspoken individual. I'm gonna have tattoos that express myself." And it was kind of a weird thing for him to go through, I guess, just because he's always seen me as this, not shy, but obviously whenever you're around coaches, you're not the same as you would be around like teammates. Y'all know how that is.
Yeah.
So it's just like you're kind of a different person. So he seeing me kind of go into a different area that wasn't familiar to him probably was like, oh man, he going off the wrong rail or he going down the wrong path. So we had a lot of arguments and not arguments, but conversations about it. So but other than that though, he's let me be me, and he's really accepted who I am. So I can't do nothing but love him for that.
So you're in Boston now. Tell me about the differences between Boston and Charleston.
Ain't no Bojangles, baby.
I was just about to say that. Ain't no Bojangles. I gotta drive like 35 minutes to go to Chick-fil-A. So everything is a trip. Everything is a trip. I'm starting to like Cane's though. Normally Cane's is like the last go-to, but that's the only thing up here. So, but no, the biggest thing is I feel like, I don't know, man. Like the drivers are just aggressive up here, man. Like it's really crazy. Like I'm just driving around. Yeah, bro. Like if you're trying to take a left, like they just get out in front of you. Like I don't even like if I'm driving straight and there's somebody trying to take a turn, they're like risking everything for that left turn. So, and then like the accent and how just people are up here, everything is a little bit fast paced, and the hospitality isn't the same as being down south. Like people aren't, just talking to you like like you're walking down King Street, Charleston. Everybody's gonna say what's up, hey. It ain't none of that. It's like bumping you and hitting you in your shoulder. I'm like, dang.
Right. Yeah, that hospitality is different. Have you been up there since like winter has started, or like during any cold weather yet?
Nah, I ain't experienced none of that shit. That's what everybody's saying to get ready for it.
Oof. Yeah, you better get some winter coats for sure.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they give us some, so we ain't got to worry about. Because I know it's supposed to get bad though. Apparently, like right now, it's been like the best time of the year, I guess, to be in Boston, like in the summer months. So. It's been beautiful up here so far. Like I'm obviously like down south. I was talking to my dad. It felt like, I think he said like the heat index was like 105 or something the other day, and I was like, yeah, it ain't been nothing but like 80s here.
Bro, it's been stupid hot here, man. Dumb hot. I mean, like I think the other day, one of my homeboys that plays at Coastal was saying it was 88 there, but it felt like 111 type of deal.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous.
Bro. Yeah, but you talked about being yourself, and when you talk about being yourself. Like I said, your guy fought on social media for a while. You definitely one of those guys on the team that's like, bro, everything is a joke to him. And like you need those kind of guys on the team. And I'm sure like your teammates at times are probably annoyed by it. But you are definitely out there with your personality. You're a eccentric dude. Like you said, you follow like the likes of Kelly Oubre and those guys. And it shows like just in your personality, the way you carry yourself. Like where did you get to that point where you're like, man, you know what? I'm gonna start getting on social media. I'm gonna just start being me because like you have a huge following now. Like people love seeing the stuff that you post. You're a food connoisseur. You're everything when it comes to you say things to troll just cause. Like where'd you come out with this, man?
Well, the crazy thing about it is I always felt like I don't know. I feel like any kind of attention is good attention in terms of like growing your brand. Like I feel like especially with the whole NIL thing coming into play, I felt like you kind of have to be on the crazy side in order to garner attention. So I kind of use that as like, obviously, like whenever you're talking about like all-time greats in basketball, for example, I'm gonna throw in Curry. Like even though people talk about LeBron and Michael Jordan, I'm gonna throw in Curry just because I know somebody's gonna be like, oh no, he's not even in the picture, but I'm gonna argue for it. So like just doing dumb stuff like that, or like saying Giannis is better than KD, which I don't actually believe, but like. Just saying that just to get people triggered and just to have a conversation.
Bro was saying Blueface is top 2.
Oh no, he's for real. I really cold-heartedly believe that, bro.
Oh hell no.
I believe that with all my soul, bro. Blueface is top 2 for sure. But no, I just feel like being yourself. Like I feel like I don't try to impress people. I feel like that's the biggest thing. Growing up, I feel like in my hometown, I always felt the need to impress others. And I feel like coming to college, I was just like, I mean, it's cool and all, but I spent more time worrying about that. And that like comes into the whole mental health thing. I spent a lot of time like trying to compete with others and like compare myself to others. And I felt like that was weighing me down in terms of my potential as a human being. So I was just like, man, like people are gonna think what they want to regardless. People are gonna think I'm broke, rich, happy, sad. Like people are gonna think that whatever they want to regardless. I might as well just do what I want to on my social media and just, live it the way I want to. So that's the kind of approach I've been having and it's been working ever since. So
it's definitely worked for you. I mean, you've been a guy who you've profited big time off NIL. I mean, every day I get on Instagram, it's something new that you're doing with somebody. I'm like, dude, this dude got to slow down a little bit, relax. That man is not missing no bit of bread. And it's crazy. You're prepared for this moment because you've been building your brand for 3 or 4 years already, just intentionally but unintentionally at the same time. Like you never knew NIL was going to come at the time that you were still going to be in school. Like we probably thought it was going to be something 10 years down the road that came out, and you were ready to roll. I mean, I've just talked to us about how cool that experience has been now that you guys actually get paid for, just being silly, just being you. Like people actually like, yeah, I'm gonna pay you to just keep saying shit on Instagram or saying shit on Snapchat or on Twitter. Just talk about that a little bit.
I think it's been cool. Obviously, you can, profit off your name, image, and likeness now. So obviously, that's a benefit to being a student athlete. And I've been in college this will be my 6th year in college. So I always told, I think my sophomore year, I was like, I could be in college for 8 years and I'd be perfectly happy with it. So I was just like, I mean, you just living free, traveling for free, playing the game you love, ain't got to worry about bills or nothing like that. So I'm like, hey, I'll be in college for as long as I can. So I feel like with the NIL thing, it just gave it another level of like I feel like you want to actually be in college. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's kind of unfair for certain individuals. Like obviously, I've been blessed and fortunate enough to have a platform that I can use and reach people. But like I feel like for other guys in college basketball, they don't have the followers and they're not gonna get the same opportunities that I would necessarily. So that's the only thing I kind of don't like about it in terms of fairness. But I guess life is unfair as it is, so you gotta just take it how you can.
That's what I'd actually talked to Sciggy about that on the day the NIL came out. I think we dropped the episode either that day or the day after that. We talked about. I said a lot of people just found out. Like it's a good day for college athletes, but a lot of college athletes just found out they ain't worth the damn today. Like, like some people,
as sad as it is,
found out like, dude, like you're not just cool because you wear a jersey. Like you got to have some sort of personality. You have to have something that goes with you because there's a lot of people in the country wearing jerseys. Like you were playing basketball in College of Charleston. Like not many people know exactly. Like people know what Charleston is, but how many people know? They have a basketball team type of deal. Like they're actually a mid-major school. Yeah. It's like you actually, like for you to have the following you have is incredible. And it just speaks to who you are as a person and what you are and how much you believe in yourself and grow your brand yourself. Like that's been incredible. Like I know you could probably joke with your teammates at some point. Like, damn, y'all ain't worth nothing, man. I hate to tell you. Like, you got
the crazy thing about it is I feel like for me it's tough to do that just because I understand, like I don't know how people I just know how people struggle with certain things because like it's certain things that I try not to joke about and certain things that I do. And when it comes in terms of like obviously if I feel like you can kind of tell if somebody's secure with themselves.
Exactly.
Like I got some teammates and people that I know that I'm like I can joke with them about that because like I know they ain't gonna take it to heart, they ain't gonna second guess their like worth or whatever. So like other than that, like, but yeah, if it's the guy to joke with, I'm definitely gonna say like, yeah, bro, you ain't worth nothing, dog. I'm sorry. But I feel like what the biggest thing is just I want to be able to give back. Like I told him, like hopefully a future deal goes through because a lot of the deals that I'm talking to right now are they want to wait till basketball season, like whenever our peak, like whenever we're like being out there the majority of the time in terms of like obviously on TV and being around social media because obviously football is in play right now, so. But like when the deals go through, I told my guys, I'm like, I'm gonna take care of y'all boys because I want to be able to just help others. Like I don't want to be in the locker room and get all this attention and get all this money and guys be like resent me for doing that. Yeah, I don't want to be that type of guy because I mean, honestly, realistically speaking, I'm the only guy that's gonna be able to get deals in our locker room probably.
Well, you play basketball at Boston College. No offense.
College, yeah.
But it's Boston College. No offense. I mean,
we're gonna change that. We're gonna change that this year. Watch. Give me until January. Watch what happens.
Bro, it doesn't matter how good y'all are. That's the thing. Like, it's the fact that Boston College can go 12-0 in football, and they still will not have a player on the team that people want to market. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just Boston College. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's nothing against the talent that's there. It's just the market. Like, it's Boston at the end of the day. But when we're talking college athletes, you want to see the guys in from states like Florida and California, Texas, and all those.
Sure. I definitely
and all that stuff.
It's definitely more attractive to go down south and be in that region down there in terms of, I guess it's just more marketable down there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I feel like with my platform, my following, I feel like I can definitely be successful up here. But obviously, I feel like it is a lot tougher just because you have the Celtics, you have other pro leagues. Like I feel like if I was in Charleston, I'd be making crazy just because there's absolutely nothing in Charleston.
Big bag bread, baby.
So being up here kind of, I don't know if it limited me, but it also could help exposure-wise too, though, just because of, this Boston, it's 10 times the size of Charleston. So, like, you never know, like, the possibilities can be endless up here. So, I mean, it'd be interesting to see, like, when 8 months go by, what all happens for me and, what happens for my brain and stuff like that.
Take a good following with you, too, though, just because of the fact you're from the South. So now you're connecting a culture from the South, and you're going to start getting people from the Northeast. It's like that's what's going to help your following, too, just from the fact you've been in two places. And a lot of people don't really have that experience. And now you never know. You go to the community of Boston College. I don't even know what part it's in or whatnot. But you got people that are going to fall in love with you there. It's like, dang, you got a fan club there. You got a fan club in Charleston. And then you're going to, on top of that, you're going to start getting pushed on a national level when you start emptying the clip here in October, November, or whatever.
That clip is going to get empty for sure.
You better shoot. I need you to shoot at least 45% from three and take at least 7 a game. Like if I tune into a game,
45, I need to. I'm gonna go. Listen, the thing is, bro, I'm going for 40, but I'm gonna shoot probably 13, 14 a game. That's what I'm doing right now.
Ooh, that's all I care about.
Because last year in the 3 games that I played, the most I shot was 17. I shot 17 threes one game.
You were hoisting them, I swear to God.
Yeah, bro, I'm letting them go. And then like the crazy thing about it is our makeup for this team. I'm like legit our only shooter. Like I'm gonna have to be on my shit every game, damn near, just in order for us to be like, we'll have a legit threat from outside. Like if I'm off, we a whole different team. I feel like.
I'm actually about to watch Boston College basketball. That's crazy.
Imagine shooting 13, 14 threes a game and then averaging 40% for the entire season. That's like some Klay Thompson shit.
Bro, that is
I'm
like
trying to make myself an elite shooter this year because I mean. At this level, because obviously at the mid-major level, you kind of have to go above and beyond with your performance in order to make it to the league.
Right.
See, at the high major level, I can average a solid 13, 14, shoot 40%, get like 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and I'm Gucci. I'll be able to get some. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's really all I want to be. Like, I know myself, and I'm like really aware of who I am as an individual on the court. I would be perfectly fine if a GM come to me and was like, hey, we want you to be PJ Tucker. I'm like, bro, I'm PJ Tucker then, dog. That's all I want to do. I'll play defense.
Don't be PJ Tucker. You could have said, JJ Redick or something.
I could have said JJ, but I'm talking about frame though, because I'm end up being a big, pretty big guy, probably whatever. By the time I'm 32 years old, I'm gonna end up having like a frame like that. So I was like, PJ Tucker, Jay Crowder. I love those type of guys on the team. So
there you go.
I just want to be somebody like that. And I feel like I can shoot better than them. No disrespect to them, but I can shoot better than them.
Sure.
We talked about your build too. And your brother plays down at Clemson, plays tight end Clemson, who very underrated tight end. I think he has a chance to be probably in the second round.
Right, bro. He underrated
this year.
Hell,
like if you really think about it, like he's cold. Like, dude, he can run like a receiver. He can run routes. He catches the football. It's like, what more do you guys want him to do? I mean, obviously missing that season with the bull crap that they put on him is what hurt him. But at the end of the day, like, you're built like a football player if people have ever seen you. And then you talked about when you were 235. But explain to people why you were 235. Like, you really be liking food. Like, you be eating your fried foods and desserts.
I have to go into that real quick. So the biggest thing I got at 235 was I was like 210 around when COVID ended, around my junior season, whenever it ended. So I was just like, 210, I'm straight. I'm at a solid weight. COVID hit. But in Charleston, they were really, really tripping. Like, we couldn't get in the gym from I don't remember being in the gym from March to August. So I don't know how many months that is. I don't feel like doing the math right now. But it was a minute where we couldn't get in the gym and get access to it. So in the meantime, my girl was working at a restaurant really right down the street. So I was like, I'm going to get a job there as a delivery driver. So I get the delivery driver job just to make some bread. Next thing I know, I get cool with everybody. I get cool with the cook. I get cool with the chefs back there. So next thing I know, I'm getting free food every night. So I'm like, I'm living good. So then obviously that's where the 25 pounds came from. And then I I tried to get back down. But the crazy thing about it is my mindset was so messed up because I was just thinking, like, obviously in Charleston the past 2 years, I've been with NBA guys that got picked. I was with Jarrell Brantley, who's with the Jazz, and then Grant Riller, who's with the Hornets. So I'm thinking, like, I sat behind them two pros. Like, it's my time now. And the crazy thing about it is I felt like I was on pace to be in that. Like, even though I was 25 pounds overweight, like, I felt like I was going to be able to average 20, 23 points a game, get my name in the, be one of the Charleston greats, and then get drafted. But it didn't work out that way. But a lot of that came from me gaining that 25 pounds. That's the sole reason I believe I got hurt, though, just because I was moving too quick and with all that extra weight. So, but no, that's how I gained them 25 pounds, though. I mean, I regret it, but at the same time, damn, that food was good, bro. I ain't gonna cap to you now.
Hey, it's not you could have worked out or anything. So I understand. I feel you on that. Like, I forgot Charleston was one of those places that was like shut down. But
yeah, man.
How was COVID for you? I know me and Sciggy talked about we had a mental health check episode, and we had talked about how my biggest struggle with mental health had actually come like right before COVID had happened, like that football season before that. So I was actually prepared mentally to be at my strongest mentally when COVID hit. So I was prepared for that. But I think a lot of people weren't. So just talk about how COVID was for you. Like, you had to sit inside. I know you're a person who, I respect you a lot for this because you're one of those guys. You love your girlfriend to death, and you're gonna let people know it. You spent a lot of time with her. How was COVID like? What was that whole experience for you?
It was difficult to a certain extent. I really think I just had I feel like that's where I started getting my anxiety and kind of like depressional mood swings. I feel like just because of, I don't know, I typically wasn't working out 3 times a day. I wasn't, I was inside cooped up all the time. Like, I don't know if the sunlight was a factor. People always say sunlight is a big deal. I don't see what that is, but like, I'm just gonna go with it.
I don't like sunlight. I like cloudy.
So like, I'm just like, maybe that could have played into it. But in terms of just like dealing with it mentally, it was tough just because I felt like I couldn't release all the stress that I normally had. Like, if I was stressed about school or, especially whenever, obviously I was still in summer school at the time, like, you're doing schoolwork, but you can't really get into the gym or do anything like that. So like, everything is just kind of like not locked up, but like whenever you sweat, you work out, like, you release endorphins, like your body feels good. And like, I just feel like the lack of that just set me back crazy. Not being able to be active every day and stuff like that.
Damn.
So you talk about mental health, and last year you only played 4 games, I think, because you had a torn ACL. Three games, and you were averaging 15 points per game, and you were on your way to putting up some big numbers for the year. How did that affect you being able to watch your teammates play, but not being able to be on the court with them?
I was actually kind of happy. I feel like God put me in a position to where, because the biggest thing is I hate seeing my teammates suffer. So like, for example, last year we had a lot of young guys, 3 in particular, who weren't going to play because I was going to be out there 35 minutes a game. So seeing them deal with that preseason, see them on a nightly basis, be upset, be down, depressed, that kind of bothered me a little bit. So like, that's another reason why after my surgery, I was able to kind of, be a little bit relieved, just because I was like, okay, them boys will be able to hoop now. Them boys will be able to, get a chance, get an opportunity to show themselves. Because I know I'm going to always be straight. I feel like with my abilities and my work ethic, I'm going to always be straight. Like, I know I messed up during COVID. I gained weight, but I'm going to get a whole another year to, like not repeat those mistakes, and I'll be able to just move forward as the future goes. So I felt like me being able to watch the guys and being able to see the team grow and develop as the year went on, I felt like that really helped me get through it mentally. I feel like whenever the season ended, that's whenever I got worse, just because I wasn't able to be around the guys every day and stuff like that. So being around the team definitely helped, just because obviously I love those guys, like their personalities. We all was able to just be ourselves around each other and be goofy, funny, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, once the season ended, that's whenever it got worse for me.
Are you fully recovered from the ACL injury, or are you still going through rehab?
Yeah, I'm still going through rehab. I got like another 6 weeks before I can get back out there for sure. I'm trying to be out there by like September 14th. I want to get cleared that day, so I got like a month and a half to get ready for the season, because our first game is November 9th. So I'll have a good little 5-6 weeks to prepare myself mentally and physically for that.
Oof, that's big. Now, when we talked about mental health as well, I know it's something we're going to keep circling back to, but it's amazing how mature you were in that time after ACL injury. You would think that for most people that would be the most down they were, And because I had spoken to Sciggy at one point about how, for me, I don't know how much basketball affects your mental because how much you love the game. But for me with football, if I was playing bad or had a bad practice, I was going to be a bad son, a bad brother, a bad friend. And at the time I was dating, I was going to be a bad boyfriend as well. So how did you get to that? Like, has basketball ever affected you in that way? And as far as your off the court things, and have you finally been able to separate leaving basketball at basketball, and then, you go home to your girl, or I know you got pets, your dogs, your cats. Like, how did you ever struggle with that at any point in your career, and how did you grow past that point?
I feel like I'm still struggling with that, honestly, just because of, it's tough to train I feel like it's tough to train your mind to kind of differentiate between, your home life and then your work life. I mean, a lot of people say they can just flip the switch, but for me, like, my work life, like here, I feel like this year, like I'm riding like everything I got, everything I worked for these last,
you putting it all in there.
14 years is on this year. So like, I'm trying not to add that extra pressure and stress to myself, but at the same time, like it's there and it's like big and I feel it every day. So like, you think about it, like if I have like say for example, if my knee is feeling sore, or if, I didn't have the best day lifting or shooting, like that probably will carry over into the next day. And then that may end up being like on my mind at home, just because I'm like, damn, like I had a bad day today. Like, what if I don't make it? Like, those kind of thoughts. You just kind of have those daily thoughts that, like, not when you doubt yourself, but just like, I don't know. I feel like, because I don't doubt myself. It's just that, the negative thoughts always kind of creep in there some kind of way, even when you don't want them to.
I think the best advice I can give you on that is, for you, like, you obviously want to play in the NBA, but at the same time, the kind of player you are, you have those abilities. Don't think about the NBA every single day, because if that's the case, when you go out into the gym and you say you take 100 shots and let's say you miss 11 of them, which you probably don't ever do. You miss 11 shots. Now you're probably sitting in the locker room after, like, man, I'm not gonna get drafted because I missed 11 shots today. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you don't know. Steph Curry could have been shooting at his gym and missed 11 shots, or another guy in your same position was at his gym today and missed 11 shots too. Like, you're not gonna not get drafted just because you had a bad workout that day. Everything you have is about how you respond to it. It's like, one of my coaches that told me, like, my goal is to be an All-American. He was like, he said the best thing you can do is don't think about being an All-American every day. Just worry about what you have to do that day, because I fall into the trap where I give up a catch in practice. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm not an All-American because that just happened. Or you're in the game, you give up one catch and you're like, oh, well, I gave up a catch. I can't be an All-American anymore. It's like, dude, guys give up catches. Like, that happens. That happens at the end of the day. You're going to go out there and miss shots.
Yeah, I feel like that's the biggest line you have to kind of tweak with, just because obviously as a competitor, you don't want to give up a catch.
Thanks.
and then like you don't want to miss shots. So like that's been tough for me to be like, damn, is it like healthy competition, or is it like mentally like setting me back? Just because obviously when you go out there, you shoot 100 shots, you're like, I don't want to miss, because that'd be my biggest thing. Like whenever I miss, I'm like dang, I get frustrated, I get mad, because I'm like, man, I'm not supposed to miss that. So
that's what caused you to miss more.
Yeah, exactly. So, but like, I feel like, but that's where I have to realize what kind of personality I am off the court, and that kind of helps me on the court sometimes. Because like off the court, I'm just like carefree, easygoing, like whatever happens, happens. So like whenever my best games, like whenever I shot 17 threes and against Marshall my second game, I went out there, because it was crazy, because this is how it works. First game against North Carolina, we lost. I was like down bad or whatever. I felt terrible.
You did not shoot enough that game. I was pissed.
Yeah, thank you. So I was
heated.
Upset.
You talked all summer about emptying the clip, and you didn't do nothing. The first 4 minutes, he was walking around. I text Lucas. I said, "What is Brett doing?"
That's funny. That's funny, because that's exactly how I felt when I was watching film. So in the next game, Furman came out and I don't know what kind of defense they was on, but they was going crazy that game. So I didn't even get up like I don't even think I shot the ball 5 times. So then I was like, after that game, that was like I said, that's gonna be the lowest time, like the lowest point of my career this season. That's what I was telling myself in my head. So the next game, I was just like, you know what? Hey, if I'm open, if I got like an inch, I'm shooting. I don't care, because I know Coach Grant not gonna say nothing to me.
Fuck it.
So I was just like, yeah. So I was just like, man, I'm gonna go out here. So I shot 17 threes, had my career high. But the thing is, like, I was out there taking bad shots, but like I did not care mentally. And I felt like that helped me, like, in terms of just like wiping it off and like moving on to the next play. I feel like that helped me a lot, just because I didn't have to worry about, like the crowd telling me not to shoot, or the crowd booing an air ball or something like that. Like I didn't have to worry about that, just because in my mind I was just like I'm that I'm that dude whenever it come down to it. Like, ain't nobody gonna tell me nothing. Like, I'm gonna be able to hoop and just be free out there. So whenever I put my personality off the court, on the court, that's what I've been doing recently here, and it's just been a hell of a lot easier in terms of just being able to just be free out there. I'm not stressed. I'm not second guessing anything, and I really ain't have no conscience out there. So that's really why. And I'm starting my own clothing brand, by the way. No conscience.
Oh.
That's my clothing brand gonna be. So
Ooh,
I'm excited about
tough.
that.
Oh,
yeah, bro. I got some.
That'll be exciting. I'll help you promote it off our page too, off our main Twitter page. We got close to 1,000 followers, so.
Oh yeah, that's tough. Yeah, definitely. Any kind of promotion I can get, because I got a lot of stuff coming up. Because I really just wanted to create a brand, obviously, that resembles something I believe in, and then, obviously helping other people with mental health and stuff like that. Because I just feel like whenever you're out there, whether any sport you play, you really can't be thinking in terms of what could happen. Like, could the worst happen? Like, I feel like that's gonna be my biggest challenge whenever I'm out there. Like when November 9th hit, like thinking about my injury again. But I'm not gonna be able to. I got to be out there just being carefree and not having any conscience. So. But yeah, so I got some previews on that, but I got like some tank tops coming through and stuff like that. I'm gonna take a little photo shoot and then post them.
That's perfect, because our last guest actually was we had University of Illinois corner Taylor Litzy. He has a clothing line. Now he's coming on with ATB to we're gonna try to get some gear through him and stuff, because we had the idea was we've had all these big time athletes come here, like guys from Michigan State, all kinds of stuff, NFL players.
That's tough.
We're gonna make shirts, or like even just like a headband to wear, like a little cutoff shirt to wear during pre-games, just to show that you're part of the on-campus fraternity. Like, we'll send your gear in the mail as well, because you're part of fraternity now too. So that's
sir.
Like, going back to what you talked about, one of the biggest things for me that made me start playing better is when I found out my value, like outside of football. Like when I started reading more books and everything like that, and I came to the conclusion, like I was sitting in my room one day reading a book, I was like, damn, this shit really does not matter. Like none of this shit matters. Like, I'm really using foot. Like I'm out here running around, sweating every day, getting yelled at, catching a football, and all this stuff. And it's like you're making it your whole life. It's like, bro, this shit is really like it's literally a game. Like I'm a big competitor. I love it to death and everything. Like nobody can question my love for football, because even outside of football, I'm involved with football and scouting and stuff like that. So it's like, bro, like why do I put so much value in something that really does not matter? If the world ends today, like no one's gonna give a damn about an interception or a pass breakup.
Exactly. And that's what I started thinking about in terms of just like moving forward. Because obviously, like you think about it, I used to get so caught up in accolades and stuff like that in high school. Like I was always so mad. I was so pissed off that I never got like player of the year or, Gatorade player of the year or stuff like that whenever I felt like I could have. But then I'm like, bro, like nobody even thinking about that right now.
Because people, like, we use it, like if you don't win Gatorade Player of the Year, for example, you start thinking, "Damn, I'm ass." Do everybody else think I'm ass? But really, in your high school, people are like, "Man, Brevin Galloway, the best basketball player I've ever seen." They don't even know who won Gatorade Player of the Year.
Exactly, and that's what I had to get over. I'm like, bro, I was so caught up with like, because I wanted to, like, obviously when you think about like your best games, like I could literally walk around. My mom probably don't even know my best game.
Exactly.
So like why am I tripping? Why am I stressing about like a sport or like having a crazy performance or like I completely agree with you said too, by the way. Like reading books and all that kind of stuff helps, because my girl's been trying to read books. I was like, I'm in school, I ain't trying to read right now. But from like some of the little chapters or like the little things that she'll send me, I'm like, that is really crazy, because like people have so much more to themselves than just a sport that they play, but they don't ever want to tap into that side just because of either they're scared or they just don't have the resources to do it by any means. Because I feel like that's the biggest thing. I lack knowledge of, trying to build like a brand or, like, because obviously, like, whenever you think about it, growing up, you try to play sports just to make money. Like the whole point is to become a professional and provide for your family and stuff like that. There are obviously other ways that you can do it and like side hustles and stuff like that. But growing up, nobody's trying to teach you or, teach you a skill or a side hustle whenever you're 14, 15 years old, whenever all you're thinking about is getting a D1 scholarship to play somewhere. So I feel like me lacking knowledge is what held me back in terms of, knowing my worth and stuff like that. So
I got a good book for you. You should read Relentless by Tim S. Grover. I think that'll be a good start for you, because I read that book about 3 summers ago and I finally got into reading it. It started putting me to other books. Like, dude, I'm a big movie guy. I'm a big romance movie guy. It's like, I love Nicholas Sparks and stuff. I ended up starting to read those novels. stuff like that. Like, because like I read that stuff. I read that stuff in my off time because it keeps me calm. Like, I don't need my life to be like we work out all day, we train all summer, we go to practice and all that stuff. Like, we're always high intensity and stuff. I need things that are gonna calm me down. I want to go to the room.
True.
I want to watch. It's like
train. He used to train MJ and Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, that's what that book's about. And Kobe.
Yeah.
It's like
and Kobe.
He talks about just like the 3 different types of people in life and what makes you, bro. You got Relentless by 10 Minutes Grover. I definitely tell you about it after we get off here too. I think that's a great book, but for me, it's just it's like, bro, like, why do I care so much about this stuff? Like, you can go to your room, you can chill, you can watch Outer Banks and be calm and not have to be stressed about the next practice coming up.
Outer Banks,
the next day. Yeah, like, bro.
Outer Banks is like that. Outer Banks is top 3.
Oh, I just finished that.
I've never seen it.
Bro,
you finished the second season?
Bro, yes, I finished that Friday. I watched all Friday and Saturday. Tough.
Oh yeah, I'm about to. I just finished episode 2. I'm about to get to 3 after this. As soon as we get done with this.
Like, start thinking of like little things that you could do before games and just keep you calm. It's like my ritual before every game is on the Friday night before games. I started in high school when obviously playing on Friday night in high school, so it'd be Thursday nights. I ended up doing this because I went to a camp. And the night before, I watched like The Lucky One with like Zac Efron. It's another Nicholas Sparks movie. And that next day, I went out to a camp, won defensive MVP of the whole camp, and got invited to Rivals. And I was like, that might be the wave. So I started watching romance movies the night before every game because it's just something that keeps me calm, keeps you loose, and like you're not thinking about the game. You're just sitting there like, dang, this story really crazy.
That's crazy because like my pregame ritual. Speaking of like funny things, like I know y'all seen Cars and y'all know who Lightning McQueen is. So, like, you know how Lightning McQueen would be like at the beginning of, I forgot what movie it was. I think it's the first one. He's like, I am Speed. Yeah. So, like, I pretty much, So, like, I watched that. It was during the season. I was like, damn, I said, that's a good idea. So, like, whenever they're, like, either doing the national anthem or something like that, I'll be like, I am a shooter or something like that. And I'll just pretty much, like, just try to get myself mentally ready. But, like, it's a cool way because I feel like I'm Lightning McQueen. So, like, it's like a goofy, like, childish way. But it ain't, like, all the serious pressure that like that you typically would think would be like before tip off or something like that. So that kind of stuff does help for real though.
I don't even listen to like hip hop and stuff before games anymore because like it would get me too amped up. Like, I turn on because like
that's crazy. I listen to Jacquees all the time before the game.
Bro, I listen to R&B and country because it's like, say we play on Saturdays. It's always beautiful Saturdays, sunny Saturdays in the South. So it's like I turn on some country music. I walk out that locker room. It's like I'm just vibing with the top down on a normal summer day. Like, and like I'm chilling before the game. Now and like people are like, oh, you got to go into that mode. Like, bro, the way you prepare and stuff all week, you've already been in that mode. It's like when it's time to step between those lines, you're gonna be who you need to be because like you prepared, but you got to make sure you're in the right mind to withstand every. Like if you're a calm mind and a calm heart, you're gonna be able to withstand the adversities that come within a basketball game. But if you're all riled up and heated up and you can't control your own emotions, you're gonna go out to the game and start tweaking. As soon as you miss that first shot, oh damn, it's gonna be this kind of night. If you just miss one shot, and you're a shooter, it's like you can't be thinking like that. It's like
you can't be thinking like that at all. I still might have to turn on the NBA YoungBoy though.
Oh shit! He's gonna be reckless on the court.
I might have to turn on the NBA YoungBoy one time. I ain't gonna listen. Blueface got some hits though. I'm gonna have to listen to him before the game. I normally don't though, but he normally after the game. Blueface because my teammates get mad. My teammates mad. That's the first thing we listen to after the game.
I gotta watch the Outer Banks. Everybody's been talking about it. I'm still catching up on All American. Shout out to Layla.
She don't want you, bro. I promise you.
Layla's stuck on Spence, dog.
Spence ain't a good enough athlete to make the podcast, so he'll never be on here. He ain't a good enough athlete.
The acting is terrible, man. They can't throw, catch.
Their routes weak, everything. But anyway, just like whenever you start thinking about, like just when you get to game day, when you get in the season, honestly, start thinking about those things right now, like before the season starts. Like, say you got a big practice or something, like you go through. I'm sure rehab stuff for you every day coming back from ACO. So you got a big day in rehab. Like, okay, tomorrow I know I got to make this big of a step in rehab. Try to do something peaceful the night before. Just throw on a movie, throw on anything. Like you can, I mean, if you like action movies, throw on that too. But that can kind of get you riled up. But just find something chill. Sure. Just see where that takes you. Just see where it takes your mind. Because like being able to control your emotions is one of the best things you can learn when it comes to mental health.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's really been peaceful for me when I've been stressing out. I normally get my headphones and I could just go right around my scooter.
I see they gave you a scooter on campus, right? See you.
Hey man, that you talking about peaceful, bro? You put the headphones in and you go listen to some Jacquees, bro, and you go ride around a scooter, bro. You feel like you're in a whole different world.
That's because it was free. That's why you've been happy. It was free. That's
it wasn't free. I got a discount. It's pricey, but I got the discount though.
Is that one of them scooters that they just be like laying around, like on the streets and shit?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can get one, but I got the one that's like, it ain't no motorcycle, but it's built like one. It's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I got like a little advanced one.
So taking it back to before college, like growing up, you lived. You got a family that was full of athletes. Your father was an athlete. Mom, your brother's an athlete. Outside of your family, who had the biggest impact on you growing up, whether it was in athletics or just life in general?
Biggest impact outside of my family. That's a good question. Dang, that is a great question. I'm trying to think of somebody. I really can't even think of anybody outside of my family.
I know you said you knew Coach Grant since you were 10, but I didn't know if it was somebody besides Coach Grant, maybe another coach.
Coach Grant,
maybe one of your good friends growing up.
Coach Grant did a great job of like just teaching me how. But I feel like in terms of, you want to know like in terms of like basketball?
Anything, bro. Life, basketball.
Okay, life. When it comes down to like life, one of my biggest influences, I got two of them that are former teammates that are like with Jarrell Brantley, he's with the Utah Jazz. And just terms of seeing like an individual grow up, I feel like that was big in terms, because like obviously I aspired to be a professional athlete, and we both like played at the same level. Like we got really close, like still close to this day. And just like seeing him, knowing where he came from, obviously I had a better upbringing than he did. And seeing where he came from, how he never really quit through adversity, how he was just a dog in all aspects of life. Like literally just, overcoming everything, making it to the league, getting drafted, getting married, having a kid. Like just seeing that kind of thing is beautiful to me. I love seeing people like they may not have like not like a close effect to like where I like want to implement something that they do in my life, but just like seeing other people's stories that can kind of motivate me, and that can kind of like, I respect that a lot.
Yeah. Funny, who would be outside of my family? That is a tough question, though.
No, that's a good question. That's why I'm like, dang, who would be outside my family like that?
You'll probably remember. That's one of the things you'll probably remember after the show. Like, oh, dang, I should have mentioned it.
Oh, I swear, bro.
my homeboy, blah, blah, blah. But when you talk about having those relationships with those teammates, those can also be good for just helping you play well, too. Because, like I said, when you miss a shot, you're probably looking down the locker room like, damn, does that guy think I'm ass now? After you have like a two or three game stretch where you played kind of bad. But if you have those bonds with your guys in the locker room, it's like, man, whether I shoot 13 or 13 from 3 or go 0 of 13 from 3, when I leave this locker room, these boys going to have my back regardless. If I shoot terribly, they're going to pick me up and say, hey, this is not who you are. Doesn't define you as a person. Like they know the goals that you have for yourself. It's like they're going to make sure you keep your head on the right path.
Exactly.
Like after a bad shooting night, you want someone to pick you up. You don't want someone to be like, damn, what's been going on, man? 2 to 3 games, man. You ain't hit a shot. Come on, bro. You got to get right. Like, nah, you're not really trying to focus on it. Like, obviously, I know I'm missing. This ball's not fucking going in the basket. I know it's been terrible. Right. And that's the objective of the game. But just having those good people surrounding you is a big focus. Like, that's also one of the things I want to talk to you about. Like, how big has your girlfriend been just in your whole process of all of this? How big I know she's a big supporter of you. She wears your T-shirts and everything. Like, you got the iced out chain with her initial on.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I mean, come on now. Like, talk about how important she's been to you in your whole journey, whether you played bad or well.
Yeah, she's been. I like to think of like my little family. Like I really, really cherish that. Like the dogs, cats, and her. Like coming back home to them really, like that really can make or break. I feel like if they were just cut out of my life completely right now, I feel like I would go downhill crazy, because like they really are my rocks. Like whenever it come down to it, knowing just I can come home to a nice home cooked meal. I can cuddle with my girl, cuddle with all the pets. Like I ain't got to worry about nothing. That like when I get home, I ain't got to worry about anything. Like that's been a blessing. And then she's been really, really good in terms of just being patient with me, because obviously I've never really went through any kind of adversity like this in terms of coming back from ACL injury, and then obviously moving to Boston and having your whole like our whole life, not whole life, but our future plans were kind of just like out the window whenever Coach Grant left and I got hurt. Because obviously I felt like I was going to be going to the league. Like I was supposed to be in the summer league, preparing for the summer league soon. And then we were still be in Charleston, and then all of a sudden I got hurt, and then now we're in Boston. So like going through that whole change, and then obviously we lost one of our kids to he had a tumor. So going through all that was very, very.
He's talking about a dog, Ronnie. He's talking about a dog.
Yeah, I'm talking about my dog. Yeah,
I fuck with dogs, bro.
I know, but I'm saying I didn't want you to think like he lost a legit kid. Like,
yeah,
no, I knew that. I'm just saying I fuck with dogs. Come on now.
Yeah. So not losing him, and we kind of just had to really rely on each other a lot and be there for each other, because I felt like I went through my personal time where obviously it's been tough for me to realize though, like going through mental health, like other people go through it as well, and you kind of have to help other people even while you're down. Because like going through it, I was selfish as hell. Like in terms of like my ACL injury, I kept thinking like, nah, I gotta get back to where I'm supposed to be so I can help our family, be what I want us to be in terms of like 2-3 years from now, I want to make sure like we in the house, got a decent living and all that kind of stuff. So I was like being selfish in terms of that and not really worrying about her mental health. And so we got to have a whole conversations about that. But no, I mean it was tough though. But I mean having them as my rock definitely helped out a lot, because if I didn't have them, it probably would have got ugly.
And that's important, because now you're really trying. That's when you get to the point like, oh, this is what really matters. Because like you go shoot, sure. Like you have a bad day at the gym, you come back, you're like, damn, okay, this is what really. We talked to, I'm sure you know who Jordan Adams is. We talked to Jordan Adams about this, plays for Angels when he was on here, about how impactful his girl was. He's like, he can just come home, vibe, and just be himself, just chill, talk about whatever he needs to talk to.
It's just like that unconditional love.
Thanks.
Like it's just crazy. Like, and even like you get it from obviously pets easy, but getting it from another person who really, especially at my lowest, like who really loves me and sees like the positives in me at my lowest whenever I'm depressed, hurt, can't walk. She had to damn bathe me for 2 weeks. That's real love right there. Like I couldn't get out the bed for 2 weeks. Yeah. So I was taking sponge baths. She had to get my armpits, everything.
Damn, man.
I'm like every time she did it, I'm like, damn, like you really love me, like you really, really rock with me. So nah, man, going through that experience definitely shaped my whole outlook on, my relationship, and I just realized like, damn, like I really got blessed with a good one. So can't mess this up.
Are the rumors true that you trying to start a podcast, man? Because we could go ahead and get you following up right here.
The thing is, bro, I want to start a podcast so bad, just because I know so many athletes that I could talk to. Mm-hmm. One would be my brother. My brother gonna be the first one on the show, because I know we can just talk about whatever. But I wanted to have like a
shit. Tell me hop on here.
Yeah, hey, listen. I know you're trying to start a podcast, so we can talk about this after the show. All right. I'm gonna pitch you a little something. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. I need that. But yeah, I just felt like I know so many people though, and I can like, obviously I feel like the way I just talk and like the conversations that I could have with somebody would be easy, just because. And the thing is, I want to allow people just to be themselves. Like I like, for a fact, like I like to cuss. I'm just Southern. Like I grew up around cussing. So like whenever I go on,
hell yeah, me too.
Whenever I go on interviews and I'm like, damn, like I gotta make sure I watch what I say. Like I just feel like I can't be myself, and that's when I start stuttering, and that's when I start like thinking of stuff that I normally ain't gonna say. So I'm like, man, I can't be like that. So I wanted to have like a spot for athletes. We can just come on, talk about mental health, NIL, brands, all that kind of stuff, just any type of thing, life, girlfriends, relationships, partying, like going through all that kind of stuff.
So this company's no filter. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Right, bro, it's crazy. It's crazy that you just said that about you like to, because that was our vision too with all this. Like we're like, okay, me and Skig, we didn't like the way that the media cover athletes at the end of the day. So we were like, okay, why don't we get athletes to come in here and just let them tell the story? We're not going to try to dictate the conversation in any kind of way, not going to try to ask questions, trying to set you up to get to, boom, that's what we were looking for as answer, which is like Darian Kendrick, for example. we didn't like the way that he was being covered by the media. He didn't like talking to the media. So like after his problem with Clemson, he disappears for 3 months. Next thing you know, a future first round pick pops up on these two dudes podcasts that people have never heard of. They're like, wait, what the hell? How these kids get this dude on the podcast? Like, athletes want to talk to people that understand them. They want to get to a platform where they can tell their story. Like exactly. one of my best friend is Troy Pryor Jr. He plays for the Panthers. I had actually spoke to one of his teammates, tight end Tommy Trimble. They played in Notre Dame together. Like I pitched to Tommy the idea of coming on the podcast, and I actually forgot to get back to him about that since then because he's been busy. But he goes, I was talking about the pod. He's like, dude, he's like, hell yeah, man. He's like, I love that. He said, dude, I fucking play football from fucking Monday to fucking Saturday to fucking Friday. He's like, all I want to fucking do on the weekend is some shit like this. Hop on a podcast and just fucking talk, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and that was one of the crazy things I heard. Because he was like, when I was at Notre Dame, I always had to come up there, and we always had to give like the same answers. Like, we will be better next week. We'll do this as a team. Like, they kind of tell you what to say. He's like, bro, I'm fucking tired of that. He's like, why would? He's like, you spend all this time under a helmet, and all this time doing all this stuff, and then when you finally get a chance to be who you are and have cameras talk to you, you have to be somebody completely different. That isn't actually an accurate portrayal of who you and what you are.
Exactly.
So, that's just,
I just feel like the conversation that you have, especially with other athletes, because I mean, I feel like, you know, as an athlete, everybody kind of go through the same thing. Like, I don't know how, like, a big thing was, I just want to prepare freshmen for how things can go in terms of, you know, like your first year. Like, I don't know exactly what your experiences were your first year, but like mine were, you know, obviously I was lucky enough to have a coach that let me know from the jump. That's why I always respect Coach Grant. He was like, you'll probably come in your freshman year, your red shirt. Your next year, you still maybe not wanting to play 5 minutes. So I was like, cool. Like, I'm shit. I was like, but the thing is, I knew for the whole time, like the vision, because like I really, really know the guy had a plan for me. My vision was that I knew how Coach Grant let players rock out. So like I know for a fact, like whenever my time comes my senior year, like yeah, it's a gamble or whatever you want to call it, like waiting for your last year. But I knew my senior year, once the team is mine, I'm gonna be able to get out here and go dumb. Like I know that for a fact. So that's why I was like, I mean, I'll be able to take the risk. I really was like big on delayed gratification, just because I felt like the longer, like I could have went to a smaller school and I could have got all the stuff that I wanted to. But I know like in Charleston, it was a decent league and the media coverage was decent enough to where, I mean, 2 guys just went to the league right before me did. So I was just like, man, I at least get a good chance that way.
Yeah. So I want to take it back to May 2020, and you know George Floyd was murdered, and we really saw like the Black Lives Matter movement and racial injustice really come to a light. Seemed like a lot of people came together and saw 9 minutes of a man being held down by an officer's knee on his neck, and he ended up being murdered. You know, we've seen countless amount of Black men and women, Sandra Bland, Ezell Ford, Michael Brown, Trayvon Martin, etc., being murdered for no reason, just because they're Black. So how do you look at those situations and say, this is what needs to change? This is how people outside the Black community, like myself, can help change this stuff.
Well, see, the biggest thing with me is I'm a realistic person when it comes down to it. So like, I always question the fact that whether there will be change or not, just because it's going to be a lot more than riots and, stuff like that that's going to have to take place in order for, us to really get a change. Because I feel like, our generation, I feel like as generations go, the numbers will decline in terms of racist people, I guess, racist individuals, but it's always going to be there. Like, it's just like a part of our history as far as the United States and just that's what we're built off of.
You were in Charleston too.
Bro, and the things in Charleston were crazy. I'm like, bro, like people are really like this. Like people really have that hate in their heart. And I'm like, and that's the only reason. Seeing that kind of stuff every day makes me realize that we can fight for it, but I don't think they're like me realistically thinking, and it may be pessimistic, negative, whatever you want to call it. But like I just don't see a change happening just because of, people are really taught that way and raised to believe that that's right. And
so
out of the 500 people, like the 500 people that were in Charleston that one day that I saw going crazy with the flags and saying a whole bunch of crazy remarks and comments, like they're going to have kids, 2 to 3 kids, and they're going to be the exact same way. So like, that's what scares me. And that's where I feel like the cycle is never going to end. Obviously you can still fight for it, but I don't know, man. It's a tough situation for me to even not talk about, but just like really come to terms with, just because I feel like there will never, ever be a change. Like, obviously you can speak up, you can do what you want about it. But at the end of the day, though, it's always going to be somebody like that. And I feel like that'll never end. So it's definitely gonna be a never-ending battle. Yeah, for sure.
And it's bigger than just, somebody calling you the N-word or anything like that. It's systematic.
Exactly.
It's the way the system was built.
Yeah, it's just how it's gonna happen, and that's why it's tough for me to not speak out about it, because obviously I do care about what happens to our people, but it's been tough for me to. It's been tough for me individually, just because I'm biracial, but I was raised on the Caucasian side of my family. Like, I spent the majority of the time with my Caucasian family. So whenever everything was hitting, like, obviously I'm growing up, I've never been trained to fear the police or to act a different way. Like I know you see All American, so you know how JJ was with the cop.
Yeah.
How JJ was with a cop is how I would have been with a cop 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't have that fear in my mind. I don't have that, because, like, I was never taught to fear, just because I've always been raised around white people. So, like, I was always just like, shit, like, I have nothing to worry about. Like, I'm an athlete. I carry myself well. I look presentable. I don't have to worry about, anybody coming up to me doing anything crazy to me in terms of, like, a police officer. So going through this and seeing that kind of stuff happen kind of definitely reshaped the way that I've been viewing things, because now I do have to be aware of, what I do and stuff like that. And I can't just be crazy and outgoing just because of my skin color. I can possibly not get away with stuff a white person could. But I hate that I have to think that way now. That's the only thing I hate about it, because I normally used to never have those thoughts, and the fact that I have to be aware, or, when I got pulled over like a couple weeks ago, my heart is pounding. But I'm just like, why? I've never felt this before. Like, why is it happening now? So, like, I got to do everything, like, put my hands up here. Like, we had a whole course about it last week. Coach Grant wanted us to go through it. So,
wow.
Yeah, so we went through that last week. So that was cool and interesting to see. He had like 2 former police officers come in and pretty much show us, like, how to handle it the right way, how to be respectful and stuff like that. And, like, just like typical stuff, like at a normal car stop. So, but no, I mean, it's definitely sick. It's sick. I think it's sick the way it forces African Americans to think, just because you have to be constantly cautious of what you do. Like, even if you just at a grocery store or at a gas station, like, I feel like everybody constantly thinks they have eyes on them just because of their skin color. So
I think the good thing about our generation, like when me and Scig had talked about this at one point, was I know it's not going to necessarily get better for us, but I want my grandkids to be able to not live in the world that we lived in. Because I do think, as like you said, as we start to see more interracial couples and everything, so like the racism, I think, will die down. You're still gonna have your places like my ass still won't be going to Alabama or Mississippi willingly, or anything like that.
Yeah,
some of those things are just deeply rooted in that. Like, our generation has people, like Skig said, our generation just has kids that don't tolerate shit. Like, we're not going for you making fun of gay people on social media, or making fun of trans people on social media, or making fun of someone for being black or anything like that, or someone for being themselves. Like, our generation does not tolerate that shit. Like, we have people like you who are very outgoing and just say whatever the fuck they want at the end of the day. So it's like, man,
that's facts too, though.
Like, like that. Yeah, like we have a lot of people that just genuinely do not care. Like, it's like you can say all this stuff and do all this stuff, but at some point, the majority is gonna flip. It's gonna be like, okay, yeah, we really got people that's just not gonna go for that. Hopefully, those institutions will fall, and maybe we won't get to see that in our lifetime. But I think that the generation we have now, and with social media being as big as it is, things like Emmett Till that we didn't get to see and people could only hear about, or like people like, even like you have stupid people who say things like the Holocaust was a myth. Like, those things can't be said anymore. Like, everything's on video. Everything,
exactly. Yep.
Everything is going to be on video. It's like there's no more.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
So hopefully,
everything is going to be documented. Everything is going to have live proof of everything. So it's not going to be like that didn't happen or you can't argue against it. So I like that point, because that actually is, because I mean that's going to be tough to argue against, and you'll be able to see it. And like you just said, how social media is and how our generation is, everybody's going to stand up for what they believe in, for sure.
And Twitter be on people's ass for anything.
Any kind of crazy
anything and everything.
Or tweet. Yeah.
Like, the baby just got kicked out of his spot at Lollapalooza or whatever, for example, because of his instances of comments that he made. So like, you can't just like, yeah, there's a point where you can say what you want and say what you think, but there also has to be a line of where does what you think and what you believe have to be driven into the skulls of someone else. Like, It's like the same thing as South. We live in the Bible Belt, like Bible thumpers type deal, like trying to force what you believe on other people instead of just trying to have conversations with people who you maybe don't agree with. Like, just because I agree with you does not mean I hate you. That's just disagreement is a part of human nature, and that's just what it is at the end of the day.
And you just got to respect others. I feel like others' opinions and views. Just because, just because I don't agree with you, or just like you said, like disagreeing is just a part of their life. But like, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I have to be hateful or resentful towards you. Like, that makes no sense. Like, you can be.
We're missing that nowadays.
You should be able to disagree with somebody and still be cool with them. Like, I mean, shit. Like, I'm gonna disagree with you for you thinking LeBron the best player, but damn, I'm gonna still like you though.
Oh, I feel attacked because I think LeBron's the GOAT. So
I'm with MJ, then Curry, then LeBron. But Curry literally changed the game of basketball. LeBron was just happened to be really, really fucking good at it. Curry changed.
Curry is 6'2".
Curry did change the game.
Curry is 6'2", 195, changing the game of basketball. I understand, like, LeBron was blessed with the physical attributes, all that kind of stuff, which I get. But Curry
had nothing.
One of a kind. I mean, LeBron is one of a kind too, but Curry has, like, all the odds are stacked against him. So that's why I think he's all-time great.
All time.
I mean, you're right. But anyway, as we kind of wrap up the show here, we usually ask our athletes, just like we have talked about this a little bit throughout the episode, like, what are your expectations just coming to the season? What should we expect? Because now you're part of the fraternity of On Campus now. We're gonna retweet everything you do, all that stuff. We're gonna promote you to everybody. So, like, don't be doing no ass shit. You got to make sure you not shooting 3 for 15 every game. Like,
oh snap.
Because we about to be on you now. It's like we are definitely going to promote you. So just
that's what I like to hear. Though.
What can people expect from Brevin Galloway this season?
I mean, I feel like once I get healthy, I'll be an all ACC type of guy. Just the way that our team is set up, man. Like, we got a great group of guys, and like we all do great stuff individually. And I feel like with my ability to shoot the ball and us kind of lacking that, like, part of our team right now, I feel like once I'm able to get back healthy, like, I'll be able to fit in and click right away. So I feel like, honestly, like number wise, I feel like I'll get 15, probably 15. I want to get 2-3 steals a game because I'm trying to show that I'm a 3 and D, like an elite 3 and D type of guy on the court. So I'll be able to I wouldn't even have to speak whenever next March or April hit, whenever it comes to draft workouts and stuff like that. I'll just be able to be like, yeah, I'm here. Like, you know who I am. Like, elite 3-point shooter, elite defender. Like, it ain't nothing much to say. So I could just be able to get my spot in the league and be straight. But I really just want to, but like off the court, I really want to grow my brand though. I really want to just I want to be multi-dimensional when it comes to like everything. Like, I want to be like, okay, he got a game on Saturday, but Sunday he doing a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Or something like that. Some GQ shit.
Hey, coach, I can't come to team meeting. I got a photo shoot.
Yeah, like, hey man, like, we're gonna have to make this earlier or later because I got this photo shoot with somebody I can't miss. So I just want to and really just want to just embrace all the opportunities that come my way. Because I'm really good at like answering everybody's DMs. Because a lot of people are just, I don't know if they think they're big time or whatever, but like
assholes. Go ahead and say it. They're assholes.
Yeah, they're assholes, and they just think they're bigger than what they are. So I'm really big on answering everybody's DMs. Like, I've did multiple podcasts, multiple interviews with guys that have told me that they have guys with not half the amount of followers I have, just ignoring them. So I'm just like, I mean, I really take pride in being a guy that everybody can talk to and relate to. And if you DM me, I'm gonna answer you 9 times out of 10, unless it's on some crazy stuff or some disrespectful stuff. But like, if you come to me with like a genuine answer, I mean, a question or a topic you want to talk about or opportunity, then I'm definitely gonna entertain it until it gets out of hand.
That's good because, like, I think you actually mentioned this the other day, like, you being good with social media. I think you put this on your story about how you want to work in athletics one day with, like, social media, the social media side of athletics. Maybe you're just joking. Maybe you're just bullshit. I don't know. One of those things you're just talking, but it was actually a good idea because, like, I don't think, like you said, coaches and stuff, they hate the social media stuff, but I don't think they realize that gets kids to your school. Like, if you can flaunt your program and show that, oh, we let players be who they want to be in this program, like, be themselves in our program, that is going to get players to your school because nobody wants to go to a school where you have to feel like, because, like, we're talking about the demographic of players that you recruit are African Americans from low-income families. They don't want to come into your program and feel like they can't be themselves or be who they are at the end of the day. Like, for example, I see John Wall in NBA games. You got gang signed John Wall. If that's who he is, hey, Be who you are, bro. Just come hoop.
Just come hoop, man. You gotta feel comfortable in the situation too, though. But like, I definitely want to work in social media just because, like, when you get on social media nowadays, I try not to think of it as a competition, but at the end of the day, it kind of is when it comes to, especially when it comes to recruiting, especially like being a college coach. You have to be able to invest in that particular area just because if you got cool graphics, designs, videos, pictures, and like you gotta think about it, like guys nowadays, they want to flex everything. Like they want to flex, like if you offer them, they want to flex it, they want to have a nice edit, they want to have all that kind of stuff. And that's just only gonna make the relationship, not only like will it help them get followers or attention or exposure, but it's also gonna make them actually want to come to your school. Nobody wants to come to like Boston, like you said, Boston College is already Boston College as it is. It's already an older school. It doesn't have the the party kind of atmosphere that you think like most other schools will have. It's got like a mediocre basketball program. The football team's actually gonna be decent. So like it's just like you got to think about like how else can we get athletes here, and social media and all the technology. Like I've seen so much stuff around here. Like they got so many things that they could do. They just don't have the ideas for it. So I'm just like, I know what I want to do whenever I'm done because I can make this social media go crazy.
You really might be an athlete that changes a lot for that basketball program just off the fact that with NIL and stuff, and you have the follow, you have to like, damn, Brevin Galloway got the Boston College and got to turn the hell up off the court and on the
Yeah, they see that on Instagram. Saying, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah,
exactly. But like, and I'm trying to show them that like because I really want to reshape like the whole image of Boston College this year. Like, because obviously all I've heard is negative things about it. When I committed here, they're like, "Why are you going there?" I was like, "It's an ACC," and they're just like, "All right, when you get up here, you'll see why it's not ACC material." And I've seen parts of that, but it's just like there's obviously like different schools like you're not gonna be perfect everywhere. Every school's gonna have its flaw. But at the same time, just like you said, I feel like I can definitely help them grow in terms of their potential off the court when it comes to social media and stuff like that, just because I'm going to be in the position where I have to pretty much put pressure on them because I want to get my name out there too, just as much as Boston College. So like, it's like either I'm going to do it on my own or y'all going to help. So it's one or the other. Because they've been upset that I've been kind of like, obviously the photos that I post on my Instagram haven't come from the school. They've come from my guy that I've gotten close with outside of the school. So they've been upset about that. But I'm just like,
wait,
yikes.
Now that you said that, I was having this conversation. My coaches don't be listening to this podcast anyway, so I can say this. But I had this conversation with my boy from Coastal about how whenever we do these podcasts, I don't ever wear like any of my school football stuff or anything like that, because at the end of the day, it's like, I play for your school. Like, I'm not here to brand Limestone or University. I'm here to brand myself. Like, I'm not about to give y'all free publicity at the end of the day. Like, it's not for you. Y'all, this program's gonna go on after I leave, but I need to take as much as I can from this platform while I have this platform, because that's what matters at the end of the day. Like, I'm sure you're gonna probably love Boston College for the opportunity they gave you and everything, but at the end of the day, like, you come on here to be Brevin Galloway. You don't come on here to be Boston College shooting guard number 55, like when you're playing NCAA video game type shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's all about at the end, and that's what's sad though, because at the end of the day, you have to be selfish. As sad as that sounds, but just like when it comes to like opportunities and stuff like that, like you got to be selfish. And that's what Blueface say. I'm just going off.
You got to take advantage.
Blueface say you got to be selfish.
Blueface, baby.
Don't ever give a Blueface quote on this. We would never have that again.
Blueface say you got to be selfish. He said you don't have to, like, obviously you got to share your pizza, share your cupcakes, but when it comes down to opportunities, you got to be selfish.
He actually said that in the line? That happened in the song?
I'm going to post it on my Instagram because I don't know the quote directly, but I'm going to post it on my Instagram tonight.
Oh my God.
He posted it. I posted it a minute ago, actually.
Bro, he's a real Blueface fan, like not even kidding. I thought he was joking at first.
No, I really rep him. Like, I got a playlist all of Blueface.
Oh God.
That I can only listen to by myself because nobody else likes him.
Yeah, nobody's trying to hear that.
Even my brother don't like him. My brother killed me with that. That shit almost ruined our relationship.
Oh, his draft stock just went up then. Oh, good. Stock just went up. Dude's got music taste. I like to hear that. But hopefully he's a guy we can have on the show here soon. Like, he seems to be a good dude, genuine dude. Obviously, I don't know why people sleep on him.
He a funny dude. He a funny dude, man. I don't know. He may be different because he's not as outgoing as I am.
Yeah.
He's more to himself and kind of just laid back and calm. But nah, I think he'll definitely be a good conversation. It'll be a good conversation for sure, though.
But anyway, first of all, we thank you for coming on here with us. This has been a huge another podcast. I mean, we love having good guests, but you're one of our funnier guests that we've had too. I mean, I think our episode with you and my buddy from the Saints is probably definitely gonna be the funniest ones that people like. Obviously, give these people where they can find you. I think your Snapchat is the funniest one because like you messing with your teammates and stuff, like the little videos you post, like the video you post of what teammate dude with the dress who was tweaking that day in practice. I think he threw a pass to like the sideline. He threw it out of bounds.
Oh, you talking about Jalen?
Bro, you post it like once every month. dude threw like a straight bullet chest pass out of bounds. Bro's like, he was like, who you throwing it to? But just tell people where they can find you.
So my Instagram and Twitter are Brevin Galloway, and then my Snapchat is Swish Jimmy, which I don't know why I did that in high school, but yeah.
Swish Jimmy. All right. Hopefully people can spell that.
Yeah, like Jimmy. It's literally just how it sounds. Swish and then Jimmy.
We definitely want people to follow you on that. Like just the videos you post, like even practice clips, even when you post like your days where you be at practice just emptying the clip, like, oh, they couldn't do nothing about me today. That type of stuff.
Something like that.
People like to see the curtain pulled back a little bit. But thank you for coming on the show. We enjoyed you. Roddy, any closing words?
No, man, just thank you. It was an honor being on here, man. I love this podcast, and it was just great talking to you, Brevin, JB, taking it back to how we used to do it. So,
hey, we've only grown since, and we're going to keep growing. We hope you guys keep it locked on campus with JB and Sciggy. Our next week episode is probably going to be a little of a sad one as me and Skig start to get ready for fall camp here. So we kind of died down. We're probably going to have a recap here of season 1.
Fall camp sound crazy.
Bro, terrible. We could.
I don't want to. I saw that schedule on Instagram. I said, "Ain't no way I'm playing football, dog."
That's dead serious, bro. Like, that's not even a joke, but but I don't want that to mess up my mental health. This is my little vacation.
Facts.
Before we start, so my mind not even focused on that right now. But I hope you guys enjoy us. Stay tuned with us and keep it locked in. Love you guys.